This video is about the top security threats for your cell phone for 2023. Follow along.
Hey, what's on right now? You're watching DC Born Raw on YouTube.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching DC Born Rob Erasing Borders. I'm DC Rob. I found this story a week or so ago, and I planned on doing it a couple of days ago, but the news popped up first, so I put that out. But this is something that you need to know. Not trying to scare you, but then again, I am. Because there's some things that you need to know that I've learned recently. We had a good conversation at dinner the other night about security threats and the fact that our phones are making us liable for all type of things and putting us in predicaments that we didn't recognize that we were in. Every time we hit click and yes, and I accept without reading those rules, then yes, we just got. Anyway, let's just jump into this story. Again, this one is entitled Top Security Threats for Your Smartphone for 2023. You might be surprised by the hidden security threats lurking inside your trusty mobile device. Our smartphones are always an arm's length away, but how many of us are wise to the risk of using them? Mobile security threats are on the rise. Mobile devices now account for more than 60% of digital fraud, from phishing attacks to stolen passwords. Using our smartphones for sensitive business such as banking makes security even more essential. The more you depend on your phone for everyday tasks, the more it will impact you if your device is compromised, says Randy Pardman, Senior Director of Binary Defense, a cybersecurity company. That's also one of the reasons you should never store certain things on your smartphone. Luckily, you can still use your phone safely by staying informed and taking precautions. To that end, we rounded up this year's biggest threats to smartphone security, as well as some expert tips that will help you protect yourself, your phone, and your info. Data leaks. Before installing a new app on your smartphone, you might want to read the fine print. Nearly every smartphone app collects data from your phone, according to Pardman. That info could include your name, date of birth, credit card, and bank account information, location history, contact list, photos, and more. It's a little scary when you realize how much of your activity is collected on servers maintained by the app's developers, Pardman says. If those servers are hacked, or if a technical error leaves them vulnerable, all that data can be stolen and used by criminals for fraud. Pardman suggests adjusting your security controls on your device to limit the data collected by each app and thinking twice before downloading any new app that requests a lot of permissions. FYI, if these apps are on your phone, someone may be spying on you. Open Wi-Fi. Connecting to open Wi-Fi networks that do not require a password or use encryption is convenient when you're in a pinch, but doing so could allow anyone nearby to easily spy on all your online activity, Pardman says. Even worse, a cyber criminal can create a phony Wi-Fi hotspot in order to trick users to connect to it and steal their data. For example, instead of going to your bank's website, the Wi-Fi network could direct you to a page that looks just like it and swipe your password when you're trying to log on. The safest approach is to not only connect to Wi-Fi access points that you know and trust. Do not connect to anything you find. If you really have no choice, make sure you never do these things when using public Wi-Fi. And this is a big one because I've been in a pinch before and the only Wi-Fi I saw didn't have a password and allowed me to log on. Now, I have, obviously virus control on my laptop and on my phone. I also have a VPN, but that's not total security, okay? Anyway, phishing attacks. Cyber criminals often use email, text messages, and even voice calls to fool their targets into giving up a password, clicking on a link to download malware, or confirming a transaction, a practice known as phishing. Phishing remains one of the most often used and successful tricks that cyber criminals use to compromise victims, Pardman says, of this mobile security threat. To avoid falling for a phishing scam, always verify who is contacting you for your personal information. For example, Pardman recommends telling the caller claiming to be your bank that you'll call back using the bank's official phone number. You should also delete these texts immediately because they're likely scams. Email is one that I've gotten got on at work. They get you with something. They use your coworker's email address to send you something, and it's like your office printer. I think that's how they got me. Here's the whatever form. It made sense to me, and they catch you when you're in a rush. They catch you when you're moving quick. So slow up and don't click on anything. The first telltale sign that I can tell is the email that it's being sent from. So if it's some out of the ordinary thing and it's not actually your coworker that sent it to you, somehow they can use your domain name. Man, these guys are slick. There's been times where my bosses sent me an email and I called them on the phone like at 9 o'clock at night, say, is this you? Did you send this to me? They're not going to get me again. So yeah, every company has to be getting these calls and these issues. And I did trade shows, and when they make you log on using your official email, man, I'm getting bombarded with all kind of crap. Anyway, next up, spyware. Beware of apps that promise to monitor the activity of loved ones and children. In reality, they're spyware, and they're designated to allow extremely invasive digital surveillance through a smartphone, Parkman says. Abusers can use these apps to read text and emails, track the phone's location, secretly listen to nearby conversations, and take pictures, among other activities. Even less insidious apps can still collect data with what you do on your smartphone, Parkman says. While making your phone impossible to track can be hard, it's still quite possible to do so to a certain extent to ensure safety. He suggests avoiding apps that request a lot of permissions or any permissions having to do with accessibility. Those permissions give apps the ability to read the text and other apps or control the apps. That's a lot of power that can be abused, he explains. Watch out for these red flags. Someone is spying on your computer too. Malicious apps. If you think an app is too good to be true, it probably is, according to Parkman. He calls this the Trojan horse trick. An app may appear to be beneficial, offering free access to something that should cost money, but it actually contains a virus. People who take the bait and install these malicious apps are often surprised to find out instead of the promised free material that they were hoping for, their entire smartphone is locked, or their data is stolen and they're faced with threats. Parkman says other times the virus might secretly transfer money to the attacker's accounts through the phone's online banking app. The best cure for these malicious apps is prevention, notes Parkman. Steer clear of apps that promise free access to premium content, aren't listed in well-known app stores, and don't have a history of reviews. These are the apps security experts would never have on their phone. Apps with weak security. Without strong security standards, many smartphone apps can make your information vulnerable to malicious actors. App developers might use weak encryption algorithms that are easy to hack, or unintentionally share digital tokens that allow hackers to impersonate real people online. Unfortunately, there's very little that the average person can do to know which apps don't do a good job with security, according to Parkman. A good guideline is to be smart about the data you wanted to entrust to the app, he says. While you may feel comfortable allowing an app to save your email address, you should be more cautious about giving the app permissions to access your contacts or store sensitive information, such as your social security number or date of birth. You can check out these mobile security apps to help protect your information. Poor password security. More than half of Americans reuse passwords across multiple accounts, a 2019 Google Harris poll found. Those passwords are catnip for cyber criminals who can gain access to hundreds of accounts by purchasing massive lists of hacked and leaked passwords on the dark web. To protect your accounts from hackers, Parkman suggests setting up a multi-factor authentication as well as using a password manager app to generate and store unique passwords for every account. That way, you don't need to use your pet's name as your only form of protection to keep your money where it belongs and out of the pockets of the thieves, he says. As you secure your accounts, avoid the password mistakes hackers hope you make. Out-of-date devices. When was the last time you updated your phone? It might be key to protecting your device against malware and other cyber attacks. Phones that are too old to receive security updates should be replaced, according to Parkman. Even if it still seems to run, there's still risk in using an old phone that hasn't received the latest security updates, he says. You can find out how long your device will be updated by checking the end of life or end of support date for the manufacturer's website. Samsung updates devices for up to 4 years. Apple provides regular updates for iPhones about every 5 to 6 years, and Google supports its Pixel line of phones with at least 3 years. FYI, that's not the only warning sign it's time for a new cell phone. Identity theft. Reports of identity theft have sharply increased in the past few years, with millions of cases detected since March 2020 alone. Recently, thieves have used stolen identities to open new mobile phone accounts or hijack an existing account and upgrade phones or add phone lines. Victims may receive large bills from their carrier or charged from accounts from other carriers that identity thieves open up without the victim's knowledge. Secure your mobile phone account by creating a password or PIN with your carrier, which will be required to make any changes to your account in the future. Hackers can also do these scary things with your cell phone number. How to safeguard your device. In addition to taking specific precautions for each of the mobile security threats listed above, Parkman recommends downloading antivirus programs for your smartphone. Apps like Norton Security and Antivirus, McAfee Mobile Security, and Kaspersky Antivirus and Security can help to spot malicious apps if they have been installed. You should also make sure to keep your smartphone's operating system, Android or iOS, up to date at all times, he says. These scared the hell out of me when I first read this story a few days ago. Password reusing, clicking on apps and downloading where you just accept the permission, because if you don't accept the permission, you don't get the app. And it may be a logical app that, could be Pandora or something that everybody uses. But guys, we got to be careful. There's a few that he suggested here as far as the password manager that I need to investigate. If some of you guys are using some sort of password manager, I've really been looking for one for a while. You don't even know who to trust for that. I mean, you got to give them personal data for that. So if anyone has used something that you consider, or anybody is in that business, if you listen to this video, let me know if you know of some sort of password manager that I can use, because that's key for a lot of things. But if somebody gets in your phone and they can watch your keystrokes, come on. These guys are good. Just like the girls in Colombia are good at what they do, just by the nature of continuing to do it repetitively over and over and over and over and over. Again, fish in a barrel. They get good at it, just like these cyber criminals too. And after what's going on in Vegas, this scared the crap out of me. And I've even heard a couple other things that people told me over the past few days too. Like all the congressmen and senators were given satellite phones a year or so ago. They don't even have regular phones anymore because they're worried about them getting tapped. So there are a few things. There's a phone company. I listened to this while I was at the gym this morning. There's a guy, I forget his name, but I'll put the link in here, or I'll study it up and do another video on it, where he says he has some sort of phone doesn't have the, EIE number, the MGM number, what all these numbers are, the MAC address for every phone, because they can track us. That video was scary. I may repost that one. That one was scary as far as how they're watching where you are, how they know where you are. They say 10 minutes to destination, and you're like, I didn't even put in a destination. How do they know where I'm going? How do they know where my car was? When you use somebody's Wi-Fi, they triangulate it and know where you are. They can find you within inches of where you are. And it's associated with your Google account or your iOS. And iOS has something where you're always linking to other people in the area too, via some light Bluetooth or something. I don't know anything except I am crazy. I am cool. That's all I know. Anyway, so guys, be careful out there. This stuff is for real. So anyway, just wanted to put this message out. I'm getting ready to head out. I'm actually going to meet the Stevenson brothers' dad for lunch today. So I'm excited. I've never met him in person. So this will be an awesome experience. Anyway, I hope to have some update on that soon too. So stay tuned. Hopefully within the next few weeks, I have something to share there. Anyway, remember to travel, but travel safe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant day.
Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. Join me on social media. I am DC Born Rob Official on Instagram. I am DC Born Rob Official 1 on TikTok. I am DC Born Rob O on Twitter. Don't be like this guy right here.
You're just so stupid. I had to send you a video to let you know that you're so stupid.
That's right. Don't be like this guy right here. Join me on social media.